think when people think about an MBA, they think about, okay, where am I currently, and what is an MBA going to give me that's going to be incrementally better from a career opportunity standpoint, long term, and then of course salary, right? I mean, no one invests $200,000 in an MBA only to make the same amount of money they did before the MBA. So ROI is a really big factor here. And so my background's a little bit interesting in that I came out of undergraduate school with a business degree already. So it's kind of funny that I went and got more of the same degree later on. But reality is I started working at Dell and major technology company in hardware, and had a really great experience. I was progressing in my career. I didn't run into any major roadblocks, honestly. And I actually worked with a lot of people that had their MBAs. At a certain point, I started working with a lot of MBA degree holders from your top schools like Yale, Harvard, MIT. And these were all wickedly smart people, very hardworking, great to work with. And at that stage of my career, I was already, maybe 4 or 5 years in. And I looked at these people and I was thinking, well, they've got their MBAs. And I've heard so much just because of the circle that I was in that an MBA was an important degree to have. And that was, in essence, a way to move up to management and progress your career. Almost, I wouldn't say a surefire way, but definitely gives you an advantage. Mm-hmm. And at that point in my career, I was still operating with the mindset of nothing's really prevented me. Not having an MBA had not prevented me from doing what I want to do in my career, which is a testament even to the company where they, if you really want to pursue opportunities, you have the ability to do so. Which to do that, you have to be a good salesperson, right? You have to be able to sell your value to other organizations, other teams. And so in any case, MBA was something I thought about, but really wasn't sold on. But then at the same time, there was a big transition in higher ed to where you had schools like the University of Illinois, where I did my MBA. You have Boston University. You had a lot of other universities that were getting into the online game, where previously the only option you had was to do a full-time MBA on campus. Now you have some really good universities that you can go to for a fraction of the cost, and you can still get an MBA degree. And so that changed the equation for me a little bit. And at the same time, and one thing I'd recommend if anyone's looking into a degree, you work at a company, see what their tuition reimbursement policy is, because ours was quite generous in that, I qualified for $5,000 or so per calendar year of tuition reimbursement, which meant that if I spread, an MBA typically is 2 years, right? But can be extended to 3 years. And so I figured, well, if I did this for a 3-year period, I start in the fall. So I'd have like a spring semester. That's 1 calendar year. Then I have 2 full calendar years. And then I end in the spring. That's effectively 4 calendar years that I could collect sort of tuition reimbursement and have $20,000 worth of my degree paid for. Yeah. At the same time, University of Illinois just launched a MBA degree for just about that amount. Yeah. University of Illinois is a top 100 university globally. If for anyone that's in Texas, in the Texas area, it's the equivalent to University of Texas. It's the flagship university for the state of Illinois. And so for an MBA for around $20,000, I could have my company pay for just about all of it. That seemed like a no-brainer to me. So the ROI was, even if I got nothing out of it in theory, it would still be well worth it, because what an MBA was for me was sort of an insurance policy. If I found myself in a position where maybe the company's not doing so well, or the org that I'm in is having reductions of any sort, and I found myself needing to find a job in the market, having an MBA was definitely going to help me. It wasn't going to be there's when you look at jobs and you'll see some of the job descriptions, what they require. You'll see MBA preferred in a lot of them. Yeah. And what you don't want to have happen is being screened out from a filter, like an automated filter. Yep. And so I didn't want that to be the case for me, where, it doesn't have to be, seeking externally, but even internally, I would never want an MBA if I were competing with someone else and everything was equal, all else being equal. I wouldn't want not having an MBA be the reason I don't get a job or get, land an opportunity. And so because this MBA would have been effectively, close to free, apart from just my time invested outside of, work to go and pursue it, I saw it as an insurance policy where I can have this and sort of be able to, in a way, check the box. But also it's a great networking opportunity for anyone that you're doing your MBA program with, because all of them are coming with their own real world experience. And so anyone doing, and mine was an online MBA, anyone doing that is in the middle of their careers. They generally don't want to quit their jobs for 2 years like I did. I didn't want to forego an income for 2 years. And so went and pursued it, had a great experience. And since then, to my surprise, my MBA has come up in multiple conversations where, they looked at my resume and everything else looked great. I mean, I think what I don't want to overlook is you do have to have good experience.
Yep.
You do have to be able to communicate well. You have to convey your value really well. So that's paramount. But then having the MBA is also another, proof point. And any kind of hiring manager, when they're looking for someone, they're looking for proof points. And if you think of going into a courtroom and you're trying to make a case, right? What's the evidence for why you should be in this role? It's like, well, I've got this, I've got that. Also, I've got an MBA. Also, I've got this. Also, I have that. And so an MBA is another proof point.
Yeah.
And that's the way I kind of see it. And since then, it's been nothing but a benefit to me, especially because it costs so little. So, and since then, I've had multiple promotions, even in what has been a pretty challenging job market. It's been a great experience so far.